Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host, back for UFC Vegas 90. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. And we are back after profiting 30 units at UFC Atlantic City. The locks came through. Loughran, Aslan, Ruzaboev. My biggest bet ever for a round outcome. Hit 16.5 units on Nursultan Ruzaboev. Now, that was a questionable finish. Copeland, he was a weird referee, but we got it done, and it paid out. So that's all what matters. We got profit, 30 units. Now, I'm happy about that. Sunday service, we showed up for work, and we profited 100 units. Full bankroll. And I posted it late. I crafted it right before tip-off. But I told people, feel free to take that 420 and blaze it, and they sure did. The Lakers came through, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. It was Easter. It was a guarantee. That was a good parlay for sure. Put 8.2 units on that one. But the first bet, I had this one out early for everybody. Bring out the brooms, and I went 2 for 2 here. LA Dodgers came through late. They were down 4-0. Came back, won the game 5-4 in LA, so that was a big win for them. Arizona Diamondbacks already won. The Lakers, like I said, already won. And the Denver Nuggets at home on Easter Day, they won as well. So yeah, we got a big bag of treats on Easter. Hopefully everybody got lots of treats on Easter if they were celebrating. If you're not, you probably should. I know we're the Fight Fiend Forecast, but we still praise the Lord. And he took care of us, that's for sure. So join Patreon for only $5 a month to get exclusive early access, not only to my bets, but I have private channels in Discord. I have a line movement tracker, platinum picks with the method of victories, confidence levels, and round outcomes as well. Like I said, I made my biggest ever bet on a round outcome, and it came through, so I was very confident. And I know some other forecasters were thanking me for the locks coming through. Their bet hit. So we're going to try to lock in on this card, but it's a messy card, and my hair's messy for it. We're going to see what we can do, see if we can clean it up a bit, but I got some low confidence picks here. I got 3 low confidence, 4 high confidence. We'll see what we can do. See if we can lock in, make some more profit at UFC Vegas 90. We're going to get right down to business here. We're not going to talk about last week. You can join Instagram and Twitter. I do some recaps on there as well. Actually, let's do a little recap. I have Discord opened up here. And on the picks, I went 7 for 13. I did not do a little sentence on each fight this time, but at the Apex I might do that little sentence again, just recapping each and every fight. That was pretty fun, but I didn't bother doing it on this card, you know what I mean? I was just enjoying the night. There's a lot of enjoyable fights, and even though we had a couple wrong, the honorable dogs on the props and parlay show, they were barking. I mean, I said Jandaroba was a pick that I was choosing originally. I switched over. That was a mistake. Verna, she won a unanimous decision. She was an honorable, very honorable underdog. The other underdog that came through, Kyle Nelson, he was an honorable underdog. I know we talked about Petrosky a bit there, but Malkoon, he was a high confidence pick. He was a showcase card. He was the second fight of the night, and he was the first finish of the night. That was a very exciting fight. He might have got dropped at one point, but damn, he's durable. He didn't get dropped like he did against Phil Haas. He was able to recover and get the win. Loughran, what a lock there, unanimous decision win. But Checo is tough. I did not see a finish in that fight, so I don't know what people were doing going for a finish in that, or under 2.5. I knew for sure Loughran by a decision was the play. I didn't have it as a bet because so many people were thinking that fight was not going the distance. Whatever, I'm not going to listen to them this time. And that was my mistake with Lupi Godinez. I listened to a few cappers that I trust, and they were very high on Lupi, and I switched my pick, and that's the reasoning behind it. You can't always listen to what people are saying in the comments or even other cappers that you trust sometimes. Sometimes you can, but you got to make sure they're consistent and do the research yourself, because looking at the stats and who Verna Jandaroba fought, I knew that fight was going to be close. I even said it was going to be probably a split decision. It probably should have been, but the underdog won, Verna Jandaroba, and she was an honorable mention. So we're going to deal with the losses. Like I said, we're going to turn the losses into lessons. That's a good lesson there, and lessons turn into blessings, so we can learn from that. Connor Matthews, though, I don't even want to talk about that, man. He was looking all right, and then Bazooka, yeah, he he fired away, found the finish. Good for him. He needed the win. Close to home there. Connor Matthews, I thought he was going to be durable enough to handle whatever Bazooka was going to throw at him, but was not the case. Round 3, at the very start of round 3, he got finished. And then we had Nate the Train. All aboard the train. I mean, should have made him the dog of the week. He was my second most confident dog. Once again, I listened to some cappers that I trust, and everyone was on Emmers. Everyone was on Emmers. Nate the Train smoked him. In the first round, yeah, he got dropped. It looked like he was getting smoked, but he is durable. He's a dog, and he's going to continue to fight for your money. If you weren't on the Nate Landwehr train, I mean, all aboard now. You just got to be careful on his next fight and make sure he doesn't lose. So always do your research before just tailing along a fighter that looked good his last fight. Right? So Emmers was coming off a win against Bazooka. He looked good, but it doesn't mean he's a 3-1 favorite against Nate the Train Landwehr. Let's be real here. And then we had Cheaty Bang Bang not getting the KO for Fatal, his birthday weekend. But he did bang his way to a win by unanimous decision. And, you know, he paced his way. He was composed and calculated. I thought he was going to come out there more explosive. So that's my fault, everybody. We're going to learn from that. The pick was right, but the bets were wrong. So we're going to learn from that loss. It's still a loss. The pick's correct, but I look at that as a loss. And the Jandaroba fight, I kind of look at that as a win. I was on Verna Jandaroba originally. And yeah, we're going to learn from these losses. It's something you have to do, is learn from your losses and turn it into a lesson. You can't blame other people, right? You can't just tail along with each and every pick. I'm not going to have each and every pick right, but I'm going to be consistent. And if you do your research, and if you listen to a bunch of other cappers, and if you like my picks, or maybe if you don't like my pick, but I had some good information on the fight and why the underdog has a chance, maybe you just stay away. That's the main thing. We want to be consistent. And the lock of the week to finish the night off, Ruzoboev. He was consistent with his first round finish. That's why I was so high on the first round finish. He had so many of them. And Dumas, he was going through some legal troubles, not training at a proper gym. I had a feeling that it was coming sooner rather than later in that fight. Bruno Silva, what a letdown. The eye pokes of the eye pokes. I mean, Copeland was probably coked up. I don't know. He didn't want to stop that fight. He gave a warning maybe, but Weidman got away with a lot. And the finish occurred. Bruno Silva, bro. At least they made it a unanimous decision. They went to the scorecards either way. Bruno Silva was going to lose. And that's why I'm not so sad. I know I had him in some parlays and stuff, but he lost. He lost that fight. It went to the scorecards. Judges made the right decision, and we were wrong on a pick. Another pick right after that, and after that we were wrong on Luque, Blanchfield. Both of them got dominated. We were completely wrong on the last 3 fights, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to try to learn from it. At the end of the day, I had low confidence on Blanchfield and Manfrero. I knew to stay away. I did put her in some parlays and some bets, but that was a mistake. Just trying to make some action at the end of the night after winning a bunch of money. So once you win money, don't go continue to bet on spots that you know are not good spots. Okay, and this card, it's a mess. My hair is still a complete mess. We're going to start it off with the prelim opener here. And we got a bunch of underdogs on this card. I have 5 of them. 3 low confidence picks, 4 high confidence picks. We got a women's bantamweight bout here. Melissa Dixon, or Melissa Mullins, whatever you guys want to call her, against Nora Cornolle. And this girl, she beat Jocelyn Edwards, Cornolle did, in France. Hometown advantage, though. And it was questionable. It probably was not unanimous decision. I thought she lost. I had Jocelyn Edwards in that fight. A little bit biased. I was going to try to find a way to pick her in this fight. She's a $350 underdog. That's not a fair price tag. I think it's a little bit closer than that. So it could be a systems play for some people just going with this underdog. I don't want to talk too long about it, but Melissa Dixon, she's tough. She got dropped against Irene Alexeva. But she showed that she's durable, she's composed, calculated enough, and accurate enough to probably win this fight, I think. She's a younger fighter by 2 years, but both these fighters don't have that much experience. 8 fights for Nora, and 6 fights for Melissa. It's not really a fight that I'm looking to bet, to be honest. Like I said, if it's a systems play for you to go with the big women's underdog here, go for it. I think it might be close. We're on to the next fight. I'm not here to waste your time. We're talking about Dylan Budka. Coming off the Contender Series win against Chad Hanekom, I had Chad. And Chatty Chad, shit the bed. And Budka came in on short notice. He's 24 years old, man. He's a good wrestler. That's his base. Against Cesar Almeida, though, who's a kickboxer, fought Alex Pereira 3 times. This guy can be the better striker, keep the fight on the feet, I think, win it by a decision or a knockout. A lot of people on Tapology agree. He's a 240 underdog. The bookies are going to get battered to pieces here. He has the power to knock out Budka, and Budka doesn't have the experience. He has 2 losses as well, but both by a decision. He's tough and durable. He has a decent gas tank. I think he can show that he's tough, and he does belong in the UFC, but I don't think he's beaten Cesar Almeida. Almeida is a very good kickboxer, and yeah, he won a unanimous decision on the Contender Series. He stuffed 7 takedowns. These takedowns here are going to be a little bit tougher against a better wrestler, I think, Dylan Budka. But I don't think he's good enough on the feet to hang with Cesar Almeida. Almeida, I trust him. 4-0. I got to think the UFC believes in him at 36 years old. He's 12 years older. It's now or never. Take that plus money. I think he's going to win this fight by a knockout or a decision. I love the price. And next up, not wasting your time with this one, Jean Matsumoto, Dan Argueta plus 162. That's another underdog. Back-to-back underdogs here, I think. I mean, the determined Dan is a very good wrestler. And he's definitely the better wrestler, more experienced than this guy coming off the Dana White Contender Series. I wrote some notes on this fight here, and this guy on the Contender Series, he fought an amateur, 1 fight. He lost in the first round by rear naked choke. Dan Argueta has 4 submission wins, 3 by rear naked choke. All of his submissions are in the first round, and that no contest before Miles Johns. Dan Argueta had Ronnie Lawrence in a terrible, terrible position. Yeah, it was a no contest. The ref stopped it early, but it was a very tight submission, and I think an unexperienced, undefeated prospect coming off the Contender Series might suffer a loss. People are piling in some money on this favorite, and I don't agree. I do like the noise, though, coming in on this favorite because I want that underdog money on a determined dog, Dan Argueta. I don't have a dog of the week. I don't have a lock of the week on this card yet. Like I said, it's a mess of a card. But Dan, the determined, could be a dog of the week for sure. 100%. You just have to look into the prospect here, 14-0. Look at his wins. 3 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 6 decisions. He's not going to submit him. I think Dan is the better wrestler and the grappler in this fight. His submission wins are against opponents that are 13-6, 2-0, 1-0, and 0-0. Right? Second round. He's not finishing guys in the first round like Dan, the determined. And his knockout wins, 1-0, 2-3, 0-0. His last knockout win was in the 3rd round in 2019. On the feet, Dan will be the better striker, I believe, as well. And if it goes the distance, the judges have to score this card. Why not have the underdog? Matsumoto, he went to 6 decisions, 6-0 on the Contender Series. It wasn't that impressive. 9-1 at LFA. He has a lot of other decisions too. I mean, I don't trust him as a favorite, that's for sure. I really like another underdog on this card, Dan the Determined. And next up, who do we got? We got Cynthia Calvillo coming off a number of losses. 5 of them, to be exact. Her last 2 by split decision, though. And Lupita Godinez, she's pretty good, although she lost to Verna. So, Calvillo's proven that she's getting better. And this price tag shows it's a little bit close. Only plus 130 for Cynthia Calvillo. I think she has a chance. Am I going to go 3 underdogs in a row? Is that going to happen on this card? It's a mess of a card. It could. The picks here, the forecast is telling me Calvillo is a low confidence pick. And the favorite is coming off a submission loss. Calvillo has a couple submissions as well. 3 submission wins, only 2 knockouts, and 4 decisions, though. Her last 2 wins come by a decision. I feel like this is a decision fight, in my opinion. I'm going to go with underdog. Rodriguez hasn't really impressed me too much. In the UFC, she beat Sam Hughes 7-4 and Kay Hansen 7-6 by unanimous decision. And on the Contender Series fight, she won a decision as well. We're not seeing the power. And this is definitely a favorite that could drop the bag. Coming off a loss, you don't know how she's going to handle that loss, her first ever loss. She could handle it good, come out here looking for a knockout. She has a couple knockouts. Her last was in the 5th round, though. Like, I can't trust that against a 13-4 opponent. And then her other knockouts were 1-2, 0-0, 3-1, 0-0. Like, I cannot trust that. It's going the distance. I'm going with another underdog, Cynthia Calvillo. I can't waste your time on this fight. I'm probably not going to bet it. I mean, there is value in Cynthia Calvillo. There's definitely value. It could be worth a shot. I know you're not going to love it, though. She's 9-6, fighting a 9-1 opponent. But obviously, this 9-1 fighter isn't that big of a favorite. You would think at these records, Rodriguez would be a 4-1 favorite. 9-1 versus 9-6. But clearly the bookies believe in Cynthia Calvillo a little bit. Plus 130 isn't a bad price. And next up, we got two boys ready to throw down in the bantamweight division. Another guy coming off the Contender Series. Alatengheili and Victor Hugo Silva. This is a close price fight. Almost a coin flip. But it's funny, this is the first fight that I have high confidence in. And we are getting incredible value on Victor Hugo. I like him in this fight. I think this contender is going to shine in this fight against Alatengheili, who lost a decision to Chris Gutierrez. He just got beaten up, essentially. He could mix in some takedowns, but Victor Hugo on the ground is very dangerous. He was 23-4 going into the Dana White Contender Series. That's a lot of experience. He has a lot of finishes. Alatengheili, though, he is tough. He is durable. A lot of decision losses. I don't think he's been knocked out, maybe once. Actually, I'm wrong. I think he's been knocked out a few times, just not in the UFC. Now, that's what kind of gets me interested in a knockout finish for Victor Hugo. We've seen the submission. We know how dangerous he is there, but on the feet, he has a lot of knockouts as well. He can do both. He's a finisher. Alatengheili has not been knocked out in the UFC, so I am correct. He lost the decision to Casey Kenny. But right before he got signed to the UFC in 2017, he got knocked out in the very first round by a knee. And he's been knocked out 2 other times before that. But we're talking way back in 2014. So he has been durable, very durable, and he's going to be hard to finish. Victor Hugo, though, can we trust him enough? Is he fighting high-level competition outside of the UFC? 15-7, 23-9, 17-8, 3-1, 5-8. And on his big win streak, he won 2 fights by a decision against a 6-0 opponent and 5-3 opponent. And not to mention that 3-1 opponent, he beat him by a decision as well. Everything else was a finish, first or second round. He has a doctor's stoppage, 2 knockouts, and his last 3 finishes come by a leg injury, heel hook, and a knee bar. So he's showing how dangerous he is. But I have a feeling in this fight, he's going to win a decision. And on my platinum picks here for Patreon, I only have 3 finishes on this entire card. It's a mess of a card. I'm probably going to be wrong on some method of victories, so I'm going to have to be careful when I'm betting there. The round outcomes, I'm not confident this week at all, but there's a couple fights on the money line I'm looking to bet. That's about it. It's a messy card, and for some reason, I have a feeling that this fight night is going to see 10 decisions, and it's going to be boring, but exciting at the same time. Like, it's still a good card. It's going to be excitement throughout it, but a lot of decisions that are going to be close, and we got to be careful. Hard card to cap. Very hard card to predict and see what's going to happen. So be careful if you're taking some of my picks, and be careful when you're betting as well. Manage the bankroll correctly. We're going to be fine. We're going to profit money. And for $5 a month, you can hit the link in the bio below and join my Patreon. Get all the unlocked channels in Discord. See the line movement tracker each and every week. See this platinum pick sheet with the method of victories. Only 3 finishes, like I said. The confidence levels. The 4 picks that I have high confidence in this week, and the 3 fights that I have very low confidence in this week. And we're going to talk about one of them right now. Another women's bantamweight fight here. Norma Dumont making a move back down to bantamweight. Her last fight was at 145 against Chelsea Chandler. She looked damn good. She can get takedowns. She's a good wrestler. But she's fighting an experienced, well-trained Germaine Durami, who has fought the who's who. Her last loss was to Amanda Nunes by a decision. And I was almost going to take another underdog. But She's been off for too long. There's going to be some ring rust. And she just had a baby. And looking at her Instagram, she is looking really good on the feet. Her striking is incredible. She could win this by a decision. I'm going to stay away. Very low confidence pick here. Underdogs live for a decision. Even a KO, her hands are looking sharp. But Norma, with the cage control, pressure, takedowns, and relentless durability, I think she gets it done here. Slightly. It could be a split decision. Like, low confidence pick. I can't waste your time. Norma Dumont is the younger fighter as well. She does not have a reach advantage. That's concerning. Germaine is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. Just had a baby. She's motivated to get a bonus, get a big win here. Her last loss is coming to Amanda Nunes. You can't be confident in this fight. If you like the underdog, if it's a systems play again to go with the women's underdog, I'm not telling you to stay away. This is definitely a live underdog. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking on some of these fights. I'd love to hear from you guys. And while you're at it, smash that like button if you like this video. And please, if you have not yet, I don't know why you have not yet, suplexed the subscribe button. I really appreciate that too. We're going to continue with this card, and I'll be back with the props and parlays show on Friday morning, Thursday night, as soon as I can get it edited, posted, and out there for the people. And next up, we got a welterweight fight with McGee, Alex Morono. This is another high confidence pick for me. My second one. I like the favorite. Easy win here. McGee coming off 2 knockout losses, bad knockout losses in the first round. You can't trust his chin. I actually believe a decision dominator type of fighter, Alex Morono, can get a first round finish. That's crazy. I mean, he has power. He went the distance with Buckley. Buckley looked damn good in his last fight, finding a finish against Vicente. Morono isn't that bad. He could be a lock of the week. He is a lock of the week. He's not going to lose. He's the younger fighter. And the UFC likes this guy. He's definitely a man for the business, and they want him to stay around. McGee, I think the time's up. 39 years old, knocked out twice in his last 2 fights in the first round to Matt Brown, who's old himself. And his other knockout loss wasn't great. It was to Jeremiah Wells. So, not bad. Jeremiah Wells is a brick shithouse, but I mean, you lost a decision to Carlos Condit. He did lose a decision to Sean Brady, not bad. Split decision to Diego Lima. Decision to Sean Strickland. Got knocked out in the first round to Ponzinibbio, though. I mean, coming off 2 knockout losses in the first round, I just have to go Morono. I have to look at that first round knockout finish for Morono as well. Why not? Like, the chin is long gone for McGee, unfortunately. You know, he had some good wins while he was around. Beat Robert Whittaker in 2013 by split decision. But there's a difference between a fight in 2017, 2013. Remember the Corey Sandhagen loss to Jamal Emmers? Yeah, it's 2024. It's completely different now. These fighters are going to evolve. They're going to be training differently. You can't trust what they have done in 2017, 2014. That's why I don't even talk about some of these fighters back in the day. Like 2020 is kind of not recent enough to be talking about. I'm looking at their last 5 fights, their last 2 fights, their last 3. And sometimes if these fighters have a good longevity, you can look back maybe 2017, definitely not 2013. Let's be real. We got to look back at the timeline to more recent events, and that's how you can determine how these fighters are going to win. Morono is a decision guy, but he's totally live for a knockout in this fight. McGee's chin is gone. And next up, before we get going with the main card, go smash that like button and suplex the subscribe button. I really appreciate that support. And this is going to be a banger fight here. Fight of the night between Charlie Campbell and Trevor Peek. Another underdog? Question mark. Trevor Peek plus 187. Is that price going to go up or down? People on Patreon for $5 a month have access to a line movement tracker that is going to let us know what happens in this fight. And it's going to make me more confident or less confident. Hopefully more. I like the underdog, Trevor Peek. Hands of steel. He has powerful punches in bunches. And he has that arm strength. He comes right forward. He means business. And Charlie Campbell, does he have like a good durability? Can he get hit with like a couple good shots and still be in the fight? against Chris Duncan, who beat Ashmus by a decision, Omar Morales by a decision, knocked out Charlie Campbell in the first round. And then he beat two guys like that by a decision. I don't trust the chin of Charlie. That's just it. Trevor Peek is a guy that I trust. He's going to make me profitable at plus money. That our strength, I can trust his durability. I mean, Chepe Mariscal, he lost a decision there, but Chepe is another underdog on this card that I'm going to be all over for sure. These hounds are bound to get the win. They're going to fight for your money. They're going to fight for my money. There's just no doubt about it. If you honestly think Trevor Peek will not fight for your money, good luck betting in the future, man, because you're going to find out in this fight, Charlie Campbell could get caught. It's a possibility. He has a height advantage, a reach advantage, but they weigh the same. Campbell has some weight to cut. Peek is more of a brick shithouse, and he's a hound as well. He's going to find the win, I believe, and he believes in a lot as well. He's a wild guy, but he's a fighter that I do enjoy. On the other hand, Charlie Campbell, it's like, do I enjoy him, or is he just getting set up? He just beat an old friggin' Alex Reyes in the first round. Alex Reyes is Dominic Reyes' older brother, I'm pretty sure. Older or younger, it doesn't matter. They just brought him in quick to get smoked. And then his win after the Contender Series that he lost was against a 9-5 opponent. That was 9 months ago. Yeah, come on. Come on. He got knocked out on the Contender Series to Chris Duncan, who won 2 decisions after that. Trevor Peek, probably by KO. Coming off a decision win against 12-3 Mohamed Yaha, where a lot of cappers had Yaha. I mean, why is he the dog? Why is he the underdog? And next up, we got a 4-1 underdog, Lukasz Brzeski, looking to cash in big here against a huge Valter Walker, Johnny Walker's brother. Johnny Walker's brother. 6'6", 81-inch reach. Holy fuck, man. This guy is a tank. But his wins are not that good. Like, not that credible. Has a couple decisions on there. Brzeski lost his last 3. He should be cut by now. I mean, 3-fight contract's up, buddy. Got knocked out in his last fight to Waldo Cortez Acosta, who isn't a knockout guy. You know, he has a stiff jab. He throws the punch like he's throwing a fastball. He follows right through with it, but, I mean, if Waldo can do it, Valter should. That's why he's a 4-1 favorite. I mean, there's not much to talk about. Johnny Walker's brother probably coming in here, set up to get a big finish. Sometimes you just got to agree with what the UFC wants, what the matchmakers are trying to do here. They're not trying to screw around, I don't think. They know Valter is dangerous enough. He's training with a great gym as well. You got to think about and look at where these guys are training. Look at their Instagrams. It's going to help you out a lot. Valter Walker should win this fight. Probably by a decision, though. This is not a fight that I have on my platinum picks to be a finish, surprisingly. That could be wrong. Obviously, it's a heavyweight fight, 265 pounds. Brzeski here just got finished pretty bad to Waldo Cortez Acosta in the first round. The finish is live in the first round, but I have a feeling it could be a little close. A little bit closer than 4-1, but the favorite will win, Valter Walker. Probably lined up by the matchmakers to get his hand raised. I'm going to forecast a lightweight fight now. Another 4-1 favorite. I don't have to talk about it too long, do I? Ignacio Bahamondes against Christos Giagos. And 20-11 for Christos Giagos, who's making some questionable decisions in the octagon. You know, I picked him as an underdog in his last fight against Zellhuber, and he got submitted in the second round. Questionable decision, trying to shoot in takedowns like that, constantly unsuccessful. You know, he just doesn't have a great game plan. Ignacio should have a game plan to stay at distance and be very sharp, accurate with a 4-inch reach advantage. Just cleaning Christos Giagos, either by a decision, finding a finish. The favorite is going to win. He's safe to parlay, that's for sure. Coming off a loss, he's going to be a little bit pissed off, for sure. Unanimous decision to Ludwig Klein. He's going to want to bounce back big in the win column here. Bahamondes is a good prospect, 26 years old. He's going to be 8 years younger in this fight. He's going to have the cardio advantage. He can go 15 minutes and beat the shit out of Christos Giagos. 6'3" as well. He's a massive lightweight. And that's an understatement. He's the biggest lightweight in the UFC. 6'3", he has to be. At 26 years old, the matchmakers, once again, know what they're doing in this fight. Bahamondes is getting back in the win column. And we got 3 fights left on the main card. So let's try to find some profit here. We got Morgan Charriere and Chepe Mariscal. And this fight is kind of close. 166 versus 225 coming back on the Chepe side here. We got an underdog, a live underdog. And he has the experience inside the promotion. That's what matters here. Beat Trevor Peak. Coming off a good win against Jack Jenkins. It was an arm injury. But damn, he showed his durability and how he can find a way to win. He can definitely find a way to win. That was a very good hip toss that he was doing too that caused the injury. You got to give credit where credit is due. Chepe deserves credit on that fight. And he's looking good in the UFC. Now, he had some good wins before he entered the UFC. Like I said, he has the experience. Morgan Charriere, coming from France. His last fight was kind of set up against a guy that was not in the UFC. They were both debuting. It was in France. Morgan Charriere is from France. I know I had Charriere in that fight for sure. He came out, got the first round finish. So don't look at his last fight and be like, oh man, he's so good. First round finisher. Maybe it happens again. That's a possibility. But I think it was kind of a setup fight, to be honest with you. And Chepe Mariscal is durable, tough, and can survive in this fight. He can get the win. Plus 125. He's going to be one of 5 underdogs I'm taking on this card. And he's actually high confidence. Yeah, he's actually one of 4 high confidence as well. I'll give you that as well. This is a high confidence pick. Now, Morgan Charriere, his wins are to 15-8 Diego Silva in the 3rd round. 18-4 Pedro Souza in the 1st round. These are all at Cage Warriors as well prior to the UFC. And then he had a split decision win to Daniel Bazant. Yeah, like 7-3, a split decision, man. 2022, very recent. Before that, he lost a majority decision to 7-1 Paul Hughes. And prior to that, he lost a split decision to a 7-1 opponent. So he has 8 decision losses out of his 9 losses. He's been submitted once. I believe Chepe can win this by a decision. Morgan isn't a bad striker, but he could get caught. That's what I'm kind of scared of in this fight. You know, Chepe doesn't really come out there, press too aggressive. He's kind of calculated and composed there, and he's tough as well. I think he's just going to land some takedowns, maybe some control time, and win this fight. It's going to be close, but I do like the plus money on Chepe Mariscal. Prior to the UFC, he beat Yusuf Zalal by unanimous decision. That's a very good win. That was in 2019, so it's not that far back on the timeline. He beat Pat Sabatini in 2018. Another fight that's really not that far back on the timeline. And these are all names that are a lot better than any names Morgan Charriere has fought. Word, brother. Word. I like the plus money on Chepe Mariscal. He did lose a decision to Sean Soriano. He got knocked out in the first to Anderson Brito and got knocked out to Steve Garcia in the second. But Steve Garcia and Anderson Brito are very good losses. And he's, like, seriously, those are high caliber opponents. Better opponents that Charriere has fought. So I got to go with the underdog. Enough said. Chepe Mariscal is the play at plus 125. In the co-main event spot, we got such a bad fight, to be honest. I don't, like, both these guys are coming off unanimous decision losses. Come on. This is what you're giving us? Alexander Hernandez and Damon Jackson. Like, just take the favorite. Obviously, he's going to win. Damon Jackson plus 170, lost to Billy Q. Before that, he got slept. Like, his striking defense isn't good. You have to admit it. He gets hit a lot. He's not that accurate. He's going to be looking for the submission. That's how Damon Jackson wins. He wins by submission. Iggy, left hook in the 2nd round, slept him. Pat Sabatini got submitted to Damon Jackson, though. Actually, no, he didn't. He got ground and pounded in the very 1st round. Now, there was some stuff going on there with Damon Jackson. He was very motivated for the win there. I had him as an underdog, cashed in, but he was on a 4-fight win streak there. He lost to Ilia Topuria in the very 1st round before his win streak. Like I said, his striking defense is not good. He can get hit and slept. And definitely, he can get hit and slept in this fight against a hard hitter like Alexander Hernandez, who's motivated for a win. I like guys that are coming off losses, but Damon Jackson, his last 2 losses are just like, you're on the downfall now. You're 35. It becomes a point where you're either going up or down, or it kind of just staying the same, just up and down, getting a win, getting a loss. But the matchmakers here give him a hard fight. Alex Hernandez, he's too hard of a hitter, too accurate, too powerful, and he looks yoked. Especially when you see this guy weigh in and face off, you're going to agree with me that, you know, he's just going to be the better fighter at 31 years old. He's going to have more to offer. He has a good cardio. He just went the distance with Bill Algeo. But shitty Bill looked terrible in his last fight, and what can we take from that? A loss to Bill Algeo does not look good. A loss to Billy Q doesn't look good. This is a mess of a co-main event. I'm going with the favorite, and it's medium confidence. Probably going to be a hard-fought decision, but the finish is totally live by knockout for Hernandez. At plus 170, I think the bookmakers are onto it. Hernandez has to be the play. Crack one, snap one, smoke one. We got the main event. And these are some Cold Stream Clear iced tea, peach iced tea, 5% alcohol. They're from the Maritimes in Canada, and they're a very nice clear iced tea beverage. I love them. Come in all different flavors. Peach is my favorite, 5% alcohol. We're going to need some liquid courage here. We're going to need a bag full of treats. We got a rematch fight. And, yeah. This is what we get. Brendan Allen, Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis knocked him out in the second round last time. But Brendan Allen has went on to win every fight by submission since. Another 150 favorite. I think he's come back for revenge. I honestly do. He just beat Paul Craig in the third round by a rear naked choke. Before that, Bruno Silva, first round by a rear naked choke. All of his wins here by submission are by rear naked choke. The only guy he didn't beat by rear naked choke was Jacob Malkoon. Beat him by unanimous decision. 6 wins, 5 rear naked chokes. 2 of them in the first, 2 of them in the third, and 1 in the second. So, I mean, this fight, it's going to be a little close. Rematch fight. Chris Curtis is probably the better striker. He proved that. He has some power. He's a dirty boxer. He wants to fight in close. Try to land some heavy blows to the head of Brendan Allen. But Allen has only improved. His striking looks good. He dropped Bruno Silva. And Bruno Silva isn't as bad as he looked in his last fight, I don't think. He got caught with some eye pokes. He probably wasn't feeling his best. But in the Brendan Allen fight, he was looking decent and he got hit. And that's what caused him to fall to the ground and get submitted by rear naked choke. So Brendan Allen's striking is improving. He's 28 years old. He's 8 years younger than Chris Curtis. The ceiling is very high for Brendan Allen. People are saying he could be a champion. I could only agree. Looking at his last 6 fights, I mean, how can you disagree? 5 were by rear naked choke. Only 2 in the first round, but he's getting the job done. The 2 third-round finishes are impressive as well. It shows that he can battle through a fight. He can fight late and still be dangerous. This is a 5-round fight. I think Allen finds a submission in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round here. You never see a rematch play out the same. I'm calling it. You're not going to see this one play out the same. It's going to be completely different. Curtis did what he did best. Found the knockout shot in the first fight. Brendan Allen in this rematch will do what he does best. Find a submission. It'll come late. Chris Curtis is no joke. He's tough and durable. But at some point, he will get taken down. He got taken down to Nazardine Imavov before that eye poke. And it wasn't even an eye poke. It was a clash of heads. So, was he that shooken up that he couldn't continue? Or was he just getting taken down and controlled too much against Nazardine? I don't know. If Imavov is taking him down and controlling him like that, like he was, I mean, I think Allen's going to do some mean things to him here. Marc-Andre Barrios as well. That fight that he won by a split decision wasn't that impressive, was it? A split decision in Canada? I mean, it was close. Like I said, he's a dirty boxer. He had a lot of volume. He was accurate. But if you want to take the fight to the ground and get some control, it's definitely a possibility. And especially for Brendan Allen, who's very dominant, averaging a lot of takedowns with a great accuracy as well. Improving on the feet, right? He's improving on the feet. You cannot deny that. And being 8 years older, Chris Curtis, it looks like he's on the downfall. He lost a decision to Calvin Gastelum as well. He didn't look great in that fight. He lost a decision to Jack Hermanson. But he did knock out Buckley in the second round, showed his power once again. But other than that Buckley knockout and the Brendan Allen knockout, he really hasn't been that impressive. He beat Vieira by a decision, you know, just like I said, composed boxer, high volume, good accuracy, won a decision there. But after that Brendan Allen win, he's went 3-2, losing 2 decisions that were 3-round fights. You know, this is a 5th-round fight, I think 4th, 5th round. Even the 3rd round could be a very live spot for Brendan Allen by submission. I have here on the Platinum Picks 2nd round, maybe even 2nd round. The last fight did end in the 2nd round. Could be a possibility, you never know. I got some more research, tape study to do before my final picks get posted, the official picks and everything like that. That'll all be for Patreon for $5 a month. Hit the link in the bio below. I'm going to have some stuff in Discord as well. It's absolutely free. You got the locks of the week in there, the dog of the week, props of the week, forecast of the week, free bets, degenerate parlays, giveaways. We're going to give away some UFC cards in the future at UFC 300. So you're going to want to be in Discord. You're going to want to be subscribed to the Fight Fiend Forecast. We're going to try to beat the bookies. It's us against the bookies. Forecasters nowhere to go. We got a bunch of people active in the forecast lobby. A bunch of new people in Patreon for only $5 a month. Getting that line movement tracker. Early access to the Platinum Picks. Seeing all my bets. How much units I'm putting down. And that's one of the main things. You can see the lock of the week and the dog of the week in the Discord for absolutely free. And I'm going to tell you them on the show here, on the Props and Parlay show at the end of the week. But you don't know how much money I'm putting down, how much unit size is going down on these, and how my bankroll is getting spread out. So I got a full betting sheet called the Forecast Forensic. We're up 30 units from UFC Atlantic City. Momentum's going to roll, and we will rock on Platinum Forecasters. Thanks everybody for joining for $5 a month. We'll see all the new Platinum members soon in Discord. We'll see all the new freebies in the Forecast lobby. I really appreciate everybody for joining the Fight Fiend Forecast nonetheless. We're here for the long haul. We're putting in that work. We're grinding away, trying to find some profit on a messy card.